people see my tattoo, I think that they're quite shocked by it or taken aback because I don't think they'd expect me to have one.
I've had a few people ask me what the tattoo is, what it means, why it's there. I don't know the exact reason I got it. I had ideas for ages of what I wanted to get. But yeah, I suppose a bit of to kind of get that kind of rebel kind of bit out of you, and the fact I had something, a meaning to get a tattoo. It's angel wings with LAS in it. So essentially the LAS is the initials of my sister. The wings is just angel wings. She passed away in 2004 of cystic fibrosis. She was great. She was a really bubbly, outgoing person. Everybody will tell you that. She was full of life. She was really smiley. She was kind of life of the party kind of person. She was a messer now as well. My sister, unlike me, she was diagnosed after birth. So she was diagnosed with cystic fibrosis. They do like a special thing called a sweat test and stuff like that. I don't have the lung involvement part, but I would have more of the other part. So I find it very hard to absorb vitamins and fats and proteins and all that sort of stuff from food. So enzymes would be my kind of big thing, and vitamins and stuff like that. I didn't know a lot about it at the time. I didn't ask many questions. You know, it was kind of, I was used to her being in hospital and me, so I wasn't too concerned or anything like that. I remember going into Bray in the car with my mum one day, and I said to my mum, is she gonna die? Like, will she pass away? And my mum said to me, well, we don't know, we have to see if she gets these lungs. So that was the only time I ever had experience that, you know, it'd give me a chance to anticipate it happening, or, you know, a question, wonder if it ever would happen. The kind of year of her 14th birthday, she got worse and worse and worse and ended up in hospital. She got a lung collapse, pneumonia, stuff like that, which led up to her death. We were all in the room around her, and we were kind of singing and stuff like that, and just chatting away and just having a nice day, like, really. Then at one stage we were there, obviously we had all the machines and everything hooked up to her, and we were around her bed, and her blood pressure and stuff like that started to drop, the heart rate monitor started to go down, and that was it. I remember sitting there looking, and my mum saying,
I got my first tattoo when I was 18. I lost my dad to suicide when I was 12, 10 years ago this year. It's a poem that I wrote myself. It says, whatever I do, I think of you. Wherever I go, I know you're there too. Well, he was always such a happy person. He was the life and soul of every party that he was at. I think it was such a shock to people because no one knew he had depression. I think he would have been the last person that you would have thought would take their own life. I remember the day really well, because I don't think it's something that you'd ever forget. My mum brought me to school, and 10 o'clock in the morning I got called out of class. She brought me outside and she towed me in the school car park, and I just completely broke down. Me and my mum are kind of more like sisters than mother and daughter, so yeah, I would say it brought me a lot closer to her because it was just the two of us, and I really appreciate like everything that she's done, because it wasn't easy for her either, being a single mother and then just being left on her own with a teenager. From February when he died up until about when I started secondary school, which was 6 months later, it's just a blur. Like I don't really remember much. Me and my friend Claudia would go up to his grave every single day during the summer, and that's kind of how I dealt with it. He used to always write me letters and postcards when he went on holidays, and he'd always tell me that he was thinking of me. Hi Lisa, thank you for your lovely letter. Today is Tuesday and it's 8 AM on a grey day, but when I pick you up later the sun always shines. Just thought I'd drop a few lines to tell you that I love you very much, and I am very proud of all your achievements over the last year. You are a beautiful and kind person and the best daughter any father could ask for. I'm always there for you, and if you ever need to speak to me about anything, just ask, no matter what it is. Love you loads, Dad.
This one was my most recent one. So I drew up the outline of a lung and then drew a mandala inside it. The idea behind mandalas is that in Buddhism, you draw a mandala with sand. And once you have the whole mandala finished, you bring the sand up and wash it away. So it's like you don't hold on to anything, you don't hold on to emotions or fear or whatever the circumstance is. Growing up with CF, I was diagnosed when I was 5 months old, and I was given a life expectancy of 10 years old. And when I got to 10, they said 18, and when I got to 18, they gave up guessing. I kind of have a propensity to actually help people or make them a better version of themselves. When I was in college, I had a goal to work with an Olympic champion. So I did. Watching Beijing Olympics, I said I'm going to actually be in London or Rio working or as an athlete. And then I suppose expectations changed, and when a month before actually going to Rio, I decided not to go. I just didn't want to go. I didn't want to pack my bags again and live out of dodgy accommodation, and it's a very different experience from actually looking at the Olympics to the reality of it. Being in college and having the goals of either going to the Olympics or working with an Olympic champion, I suppose your goals can change, and mine definitely did. I was doing a bit of training at Christmas time, and someone asked me, am I going to do the marathon? And I had no notion of, I didn't even think about entering the marathon. So I decided, I looked it up, who's the fastest person with CF, and it's 2:47.47. So the goal this year is to become the fastest person with cystic fibrosis over the marathon distance. Some days the weather is a bit humid, it's very wet, and CF is worse in humid conditions. That doesn't mean that it's going to be hot and humid. Ireland's cold and humid, so it just makes it that bit worse living in Ireland. Let's say if I didn't run for a week, I'd have to, mid-sentence, kind of clear my throat because there's a bit of phlegm there or mucus. So keeping active keeps the mucus away, basically.
I've had a few people ask me what the tattoo is, what it means, why it's there, all that sort of stuff. I suppose it's sort of that I'll never forget her. Not that I ever think I will, but it's just a nice reminder to have there. I like having something that you believe in on you, and when someone asks you, so you can tell your story, tell them your whole story. Hope that you can give them something from it.
People see my tattoo, I think that most of the time they're quite shocked by it or taken aback because I don't think they'd expect me to have one. It's nice to have like a backstory behind it. So the reason, as I said, I got mine was because I wanted something personal that meant something to me, and my own poem about my dad is something that is very personal, and I wanted it on my body.
I always had a problem, or it wasn't a fear, it was more of a worry that because I work for myself and I can't wear long sleeve t-shirts massaging people, so I've kind of worried that people wouldn't come to me because I have a tattoo. Some clients would actually say something about it, not really in a negative point of view. They kind of ask me why do I have a tea bag on my arm. I suppose it's a conversation starter as well, like, oh, what's with your tea bag? I realised when something bad happens in Ireland, you put the kettle on for a cup of tea, and when something good happens, you put the kettle on for a cup of tea. So the way I saw it was that problems can be solved over a cup of tea, and if they can be solved over a cup of tea, they're not that big of a problem.